Thank you for joining us on Interview Skills Social Work Protocol for Intervention, video number 3. And I've asked Mr. Eric to come and join us again this time around so that we can kind of piggyback on the last one that we did, which was the assessment. Today's is going to be on intervention. Thank you, Mr. Eric.
Thank you.
For joining me again and for taking the time. And I just want to jump right in to our discussion, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
We have already gone over the forms, the confidentiality, privacy, and know that I am note-taking for the sake of keeping us on track.
Sounds good.
Okay? And so in our last session, we had talked about your depression, and we decided to start with your health and well-being, correct? Mm-hmm. And a couple weeks ago, we had decided that you would be taking a few minutes out of your day to walk. Okay? Mm-hmm. How'd it go?
It went great for the days that I did it.
Okay. How did you feel when you were doing the exercise?
Very good.
Yeah? Can you say a little bit more about that?
Sure. I liked getting away from my day-to-day, and taking a minute to just clear my head and getting outside were all good things.
Okay. And what did you find to be the most challenging?
Stopping my day and taking the time for myself, and also rain were the biggest things.
Okay. The weather. Yeah. And do you find those things to be a continuing barrier, or was that just at that time and moment? Happened.
It became a barrier. It broke me from my cycle of doing it, and then I stopped and didn't get back to it, even when weather improved and I had more time.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that there's a schedule that you go by?
I was trying to go by a schedule. Like, I'd either do it in the middle of the day or the end of the day. But I was trying to just fit it into my work day and my life and what I've got going on.
Okay. So were they barriers or not?
They were barriers because I was doing well for a few days, and then the rain stopped me from being able to do it in the middle of the day.
Okay.
And then life got in the way in the afternoons, in the evenings, and so all of a sudden I realized that I wasn't doing it anymore.
Okay.
And then I didn't get back to it.
So in our conversation a couple of weeks ago, we had thought that this would be a good way to just kind of get you out there, mm-hmm. getting some fresh air, getting your body into movement, correct? And so looking back at the assessment, there was no real goal when we set this up. It was just a time for yourself to mm-hmm. kind of get into a new habit. When you left the office, what was your goal with that task?
Accomplishing the goal that we set.
Okay. So it was just walking and getting mm-hmm. out, and it was hard for you to do that, mm-hmm. it seemed. So out of 10 days, how many days were you able to do it?
Let me look at my notes, because you gave me a book to write it down in. I got 3 days done.
3 days done. Okay. And so you brought up the subject of the book, and how did that go? How did the journaling go?
Journaling was great on the days that I walked.
Okay.
I mean, it was very straightforward. I'd walk, I'd come back and write down what was my thoughts at that point.
Okay. And did you make any discoveries on yourself while you were journaling?
Not specifically to the journaling. I mean, I discovered that I enjoyed getting out. It was good to step away from, being on screen and being in my work, and to stop and look around and see things outside. But no, I didn't go back and look at my notes to discover anything.
Okay. So as I'm looking back at the information that we had gotten from the assessment.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you are not your number one priority.
No.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I'd say number one priority is my job and making a living.
Okay.
Number two priority is family obligations. So I have a girlfriend that I want to spend time with in the evenings and make dinners for and be there to help with things that we have together. I have my kids. I have my son every other weekend that I need to dedicate my time to, and my other kids that I check in on.
Okay. Have you considered incorporating them into your daily walk?
Occasionally I did that with my girlfriend. She went with me, I think, on at least one of the walks that I did in the evening, but that doesn't always work for our schedule to go in the evenings, so that's sometimes challenging.
And what about any other adjustments that you make during that time period? You just stuck to the walking?
Yeah.
Were you eating healthier? Were you...
I'm always trying to eat healthier, but...
More conscious?
Yeah. I'm very conscious of eating, and I'm trying to eat more regularly, but I also find that I tend to slide into bad habits on food. So.
Okay. So as part of the intervention process,
mm-hmm.
the only way that this is going to work is if we work together at this. And the only way that that you would be able to succeed in this is if you make that commitment to it. Now, I can sit here and talk to you until my face is blue, but unless you make that decision and that commitment to the change,
mm-hmm.
This may or may not work. And so one of the important things that I like to do is to include the client in what we call the treatment plan, the
mm-hmm.
intervention, okay?
Right.
And so what it sounds like to me is you're saying that your work takes up a lot of your schedule, correct?
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, you had said that you travel a lot with your work.
Yes.
Every other weekend you have a son that you take care of, and on top of that you're in a relationship.
mm-hmm.
And so have you considered creating a schedule for yourself? How do you do with schedules?
Great in the beginning.
Okay.
It usually tapers off and things start to fall by the wayside.
Okay. So completion is not necessarily at the top of your list?
Completing a specific task, I do and like to do, but carrying on an ongoing schedule isn't always something that I follow through on.
Okay. So that's going to be where your challenge is, which is once we build the contract, it's going to be very important for you to follow through if you want to see change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And follow through can mean a lot of things. It can mean completing your day. It can mean getting dressed in the morning. It could be, because we are trying to address that part of your depression with your health and well-being. In order to be able to conquer the depression, you have to be able to see yourself as a priority.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be able to complete everything else in life in general, you have to see yourself as a priority. You're as important as everything else. And so it's going to be very important for you to, before you make a commitment, to know that what you're committing to is not to me. You're not committing to paper. You're not committing to anyone but yourself. That the commitment that you make is the commitment to take care of you, Eric. And so what I have listed here is a list of things. For instance, You enjoyed the walking, so we added that to the contract. Okay, so you're going to be walking, and it doesn't matter in the period of 10 days, it doesn't matter if you only make it 3 days a week. Try, make the intent, and then that's what you're going to journal. Why didn't you go out to walk? Why were you only able to do it for 5
journaling
minutes?
every day?
Journaling every day is going to be part of the task. And the reason for that is because you're going to make discoveries that are going to be new to you. Some things may be part of what you already do, but there's going to be things that you're going to discover. Thank you for joining us in the intervention video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.